We make them liberals mad, cause freedom of speech is what us individuals have. It's the gift when we gab, talking about things that the brainwash cannot mentally grasp, like staying loud and waving our American flags. This is for the free thinkers, wearing their MAGA and wearing the cags. Draining the swamp is the ultimate goal, but the sheeple will swear it's a fad, like it's just a phrase. But when we show them the facts, the fools got nothing to say, and deep government state wanna get up in our face, but hasn't done it yet cause Trump's in the way, trying to protect us from a troublesome fate. And because of that, we'll never lose our faith, plus God keeping us cool and safe. But I still hope we get 4 more years so we could throw a huge parade. I can see it now, Patriots on a float, and POTUS will go down in history as one of the GOATs for making the swamp pay for taking every one of his votes. His enemies are the cancer, whether or not Trump give him the smoke. Now relax, sit back and take notes as we kick facts with the homie Ray though. Speak your mind in the Patriots lap. It's freedom time in the Patriots lap, where we ain't even trying to, we make them liberals mad. I said speak your mind in the Patriots lap. It's freedom time in the Patriots lap, where we not even trying to, we make them liberals mad. I said, speak your mind in the Patriots lap. It's freedom time in the Patriots lap, where we not even trying to, we make them liberals mad. Speak your mind. It's freedom time. Without even trying to, we make them liberals mad.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Good afternoon, people, patriots, whoever you consider yourself to be. Welcome to another edition. Let me get this right. Oh, welcome to another edition of the Patriots Lab. And I believe I got Jen, the homeschooling mom, in the building with me today.
Hi,
If I can
Ray
get
Ray.
everything situated. Hi, how are you doing today?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you
Oh,
great.
good, good.
How am I on that end?
Awesome. Yeah, we're having an eventful morning. I thought I was just folding towels, but I was trying to move this exercise equipment thing. Something of the boys, I don't know. It's like a hang up table, and they like know how to work this like a chiropractor, and you just get the blood flowing to your head and down to your feet. Well, I moved it, but it's very tall, a lot taller than I thought, and I bumped one of those domes on the ceiling lights. Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a mess. Anyhow, it's all cleaned up, no one got cut, and I'm still alive until they see. No, I'm kidding. They won't be mad. They'll just be like, "What the heck?" Yeah,
Did
do this.
did you pay for it?
No, I didn't. I don't know anything yet. All I know is I went downstairs and it was broken. No, I'm just kidding. That's bad. That's lying. I not yet, but I will. We'll just order it on Amazon. It's a dome.
I
So
hear you. I hear you. Well, it's a great
silly.
Wednesday afternoon. I want to thank everybody that is tuning in. We got a great show planned for today. As you can see, like I stated earlier, we have Jen, the homeschooling mom, in the building. If I can just get this to act right, I got so many pieces of apparatus that's trying to work at the same time. And let me see here. How's your day going so far? Any classes? Did you have any homeschooling work to do today?
No, not today. Actually, it's near the end of the school year. It ends on May 31st. So
Oh, okay.
I haven't been doing much. I'm starting to prepare for next year. So the
Right.
goal right now is to keep everyone happy and educated so they don't get rusty over the summer with field trips. So we're doing these virtual field trips, and the latest one, which was fascinating because we went to the real aquarium in Boise, and it's fascinating. So we found I told the kids to find the most interesting fish and name them, and they said they found it was a clownfish display, and they said they found Nemo and Dory, and I was like, "Oh, come on." They do have fishes that look exactly like the cartoon that Pixar made, and I thought, "Oh, cool." The craziest one of all is the ray, because
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "You did not take that picture. That's just a towel against the glass." They're like, "No, watch it. It moved." And I thought, "Okay." It was
Oh,
cool. So that's what we're doing.
well, good deal, good deal. Well, let's no need to keep them waiting any longer. Y'all know how we do. We're gonna play a couple of clips and then we're gonna do what we do after it. But this first one is a trip. Um, it's not funny. Um, Jen, I hope this never happens to you guys. Me myself, I'm not a homeowner, so I don't have to worry about it. But y'all go ahead and check it out, and then we'll talk about it.
You shouldn't be trying to steal my house. Yes, you are. You don't.
How about that? A squatter standoff. A property owner confronts a group of people she says moved into her $1 million home in Queens, and our cameras were rolling as dozens of officers showed up.
Several people were taken away in handcuffs, and one of those arrested may surprise you.
Investigative reporter Dan Krauth joins us now with more on what happened. Tell us, Dan.
Well, this is a very big growing problem. I received dozens of tips from viewers about this in just the past week. I went to do what I thought was going to be a routine interview. Instead, we capture what police and property owners are dealing with on a daily basis.
I have video of you.
Who are these people? Figure out the situation. But they're in my house, man.
Relax.
No.
To understand how this day ended,
We need the police right away.
with multiple 911 calls and arrests, we have to start at the beginning. Adele, the hardest question is, how do you say your name? We met Adele Andaloro outside the home her parents left her in Flushing, Queens. She's in the process of selling it,
No, he locked it.
but she's been locked out. She claims squatters moved in on February 6th and refused to leave. What's it like being here knowing you can't go inside of your own home?
It's enraging. It really is.
In New York, squatters have rights after 30 days.
By the time that someone does their investigation and they do their work and their job, we'll be well over the 30 days, and this man will have stolen my home. And now she's back.
Just after wrapping up our interview, a woman showed up. What are you doing in the house? Are you renting this house? Why are you here? She unlocked the front door, saw our cameras, and took off.
It's open. Let's go in the house. It's open.
Adele and her daughter, with the property deed in hand, went inside.
This is my furniture. These are my curtains.
She didn't just find her belongings inside.
There's a man sleeping right there. Get out of my house.
She found two men. How long have you lived here?
I moved in about 2 days ago.
They've called the police on me, and I've called the locksmiths. I didn't come in illegally. The door was open.
Police started interviewing neighbors and looking for documents.
Do you have something that shows that you've been here for more than 30 days?
They took the man who told me he had been renting for 2 days out in handcuffs
They got one out.
and escorted the other guy off the property. Now you're afraid to come out.
I'm not coming out. This house is empty. This is my home. My locksmith is on the corner waiting to change my locks. And it's not fair. It's not fair that I, as the homeowner, should be having to go through this.
How you doing?
Minutes later, a locksmith showed up, but police gave her a warning before they left.
I may end up in handcuffs today if this man shows up here and says that I have illegally evicted him. I said to them, let him take me to court the way I've been told to take him to court. But today, I'm not leaving my house.
Less than 10 minutes after police left and the locks were changed,
That's not going on.
the man who claims to be the one actually leasing the house shows up.
Call the police again.
With the other guy, police took off the property.
Do you see this? This guy just literally broke down my door, broke through myself and my daughter to get in here. This guy just forced himself into my house. Yes, he did. And so did you. You broke through the front door.
The man called the police on her.
So why is it that I have to leave and he doesn't have to leave?
Because technically he can't be kicked out. You need to go to court.
They consider this a landlord-tenant issue, and by law, it has to be handled through the housing court, not with police.
I won't even subject homeowners to that anymore. Good afternoon, Danny Welch, Diana DeAndre, Judy G. Mullins, and four more. Welcome. Jen, I don't even know where to begin with this one, like I said, but I'll be damned if I come home from a vacation and somebody's got their feet propped up on my couch, got their remote control in their hand, eating my Fruit Loops, and I can't tell them to get out. Not only can I not tell them to get out, Jen, I then call the police and they tell me, well, he has a right to be here because he's been here since the past 2 weeks you've been gone. Go ahead, Jen.
Wow. I don't know. Obviously, there's not a law that protects anybody from squatters in New York. But In other states, there are laws that will protect your place when you're gone. And they're usually laws that are for your insurance company. Because I know when we left Michigan and we moved here, I had one of my friends in Michigan watch our house until we sold it because it was for sale. And Allstate canceled us. They said we abandoned the house. And I thought, we did everything we could. What are we going to do? I even had a babysitter for the house and a cat. I was like, I left a cat for the babysitter. We have a cat problem. And they just, it was a problem, not anymore. Now we just have the cats, but they're not reproducing anymore. Anyhow, so we had this cat. And I had a friend babysit the cat and the house, and and they were gonna take her away. The cops were because she was a squatter, and she's like, she's not. I'm not a squatter. I have permission from. And then she had to prove, well, I had to prove on over the phone, take a picture of our lease that yes, we own that. We're the ones who are selling it. However, in New York, it sounds like they don't have any laws protecting home ownership whatsoever. You can fill out an affidavit, which, if you find the law that protects you, you fill out an affidavit, which is simply saying, this is a truth, this is the law, and I'm standing by it, protect me. And then you get a lawyer to defend you, and it shouldn't be a problem. This was so wrong. I don't know. She doesn't have a leg to stand on.
But that's wrong. I mean, I don't like going through the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth steps.
Right.
How can somebody take control of her home? How can you stay? If I come home and I don't want you to stay tonight,
I kick you out.
At least sleep in the morning. No, pack your shit. No, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna pack everything. We're gonna do everything. But you getting up out of here. And you know what's crazy? I was born and raised in Flushing, Queens, and
Wow.
But it doesn't really matter where you're from and where you're at. How can this initially take you? Anybody with common sense would think, okay. And I'm not saying even in a perfect world. We're gonna get to your comments, AJ. I'm not even saying in the perfect world. I'm just saying in a world of laws and just common sense, you would think I come home, there's a stranger in my crib, I call the police, they come in. If he don't want to leave voluntarily, they taking him out in handcuffs. What is there? We're negotiating about who can stay uninvited at my. So now we can take in uninvited guests, and just have to go to court. He didn't go to court to come to my crib.
So wrong. So wrong.
AJ says I've had folks thinking they can squat here. That was a quick fail on their end. Well, AJ, I know FAFO for those of you who know. Country folks don't call the cops. We do things a different way. You're right about that, AJ. You damn sure right about that. Not all lives in New York City is like New York City. New York State is like New York City. But like I go back to what I said, AJ. I don't care where you're at. So now I guess they can take your car next, and you can't do nothing about it. Well, you left your keys in your car, sir. Or he been driving your car since you've been gone. He don't have to bring it back to the house. You got to go to court for him to bring it back to the house.
Wow.
I mean, why can't it get there? And that's something lesser than a home. Take my car, dude. I come home, car ain't in the driveway. You don't want to bring it back? Fine. I can always go ahead and just get a beater. But my crib, you want to take something I worked my whole life for?
It's so wrong. Wow. Didn't she say that was left to her from her aunt or her father?
Yes.
It's like it's a family estate. My gosh, their names have to be all over paper somewhere. I guess it doesn't count anymore. That's wrong.
And then the squatter, after finding out his rights, the squatter rights,
Fought
I'm gonna go
for.
back into the crib. He was like, what I was told, I can stay. Let me get back into the crib. You go to jail, girl.
Oh God, right?
Wow.
That
See,
that was ballsy.
I'm surprised there's not more cases of stand your ground law. See, I'm trying to tell you, if they, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Well, I don't know. You got anything else to say on this on this one here? This was this was a doozy to start off the show. I can imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
Know your rights. Find out your rights. Contact your insurance company and say, will you protect me against squatters? If I go on vacation, if I go grocery shopping, am I protected against a squatter? It's crazy. We have to really cover our backs with everything we do. What do we have to carry permission slips everywhere?
Hey, we got millions of illegals that just came over here, man. Suppose they just wow. You know how backed up the court system be if 5 million illegals just decided they wanted to squat in people's house with this
Oh
administration.
God.
Good Lord, they'd have already built communities and big ass houses and everything. They ain't coming for rental properties. They coming for I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, I have one more thing to say about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
What if someone could prove that we had a squatter in the White House? I'm not saying anyone, I'm saying just the fact that he even took the presidency, but they're denying, and it's illegal or it's like inappropriate for us to say something like a stolen election or anything like that. Wow, what if there was a law against squatting? Could we say that the Bidens are squatting because they didn't have a proper inauguration? Everything is weird about that, and I don't mean to stir the pot, but that was a really weird situation, very common to the clip that you just showed us. Maybe I'm not supposed to
Squat,
talk about
squat,
that.
squatting Biden. We gonna have
Right.
to. We might have a show on squatting, but I don't. But you know what? To be honest with you, well, let's make light of it. I don't think Biden. I don't think Biden could. I don't think Papa could squat.
Papa.
He squat. He couldn't get back up.
Bless his heart. You're right.
Nah, they got too. They got too many houses. They got too many. See, I was about to call them houses. They got too many mansions to be squatting
Properties.
somewhere. Be
Right.
squatting somewhere. But they are gangsters, so you know who knows. I wouldn't put nothing past them. Wouldn't put
Right.
nothing past them at all. So which way are we gonna go? So while everybody see, this is why I tell people you gotta pay attention to everything. A lot of people can't pay attention to everything, and I understand that. That's why I tell you, like, share, subscribe, ring that bell so you can get them instant notifications. So when I get it, you get it, because that's what I do. But you know, while we're paying attention to the left hand, y'all don't realize what's going on in the right hand. So I'm gonna give it to you, and then we're gonna come back, and as we do, we're gonna talk about it. Tell me what you think. They ain't gonna show it to you here in America, so I gotta search out. Let's see what we got.
Diplomatic footprint in West Asia, most notably helping broker a deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran to restore relations last March. However, it has not sought to assume a leading role in the ongoing Israeli war on Gaza. But that might about to change. The Chinese diplomat Wang Kejiang met with the Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh over the weekend in Qatar. It marked the first meeting between the Chinese and a Hamas official publicly being acknowledged by Beijing since the outbreak of the war in Gaza. The Jerusalem Post, citing Hamas, has said that Haniyeh told the Chinese envoy that the war needs to end quickly. He also said that Israel must withdraw its forces from Gaza and also an independent Palestinian state should be established. And according to the report, Wong said that China was keen on relations with Hamas, which he called a part of the Palestinian national fabric. Now, Wong is in fact the first diplomat that China has sent to Palestine and Israel since the war erupted in October. He also visited the West Bank and met with the Palestinian Authority's Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki there, and he said that China was renewing its call for an immediate ceasefire. And
okay, you know, I don't bore you with all of the because it could go on, and I don't drop the links. But if you want to find it, China meets with Hamas. Could that mean anything good? Really. What am I supposed to get out of two enemies of ours colluding and hooking up? I don't care how you spin it, how you try to slice it and dice it. It's nothing good on our behalf. They're starting to put forth demands now together against Israel. And now you got our administration against Israel. What's going on?
Wow.
Well, you know, it's not conspiracy. I just give you something to think about. What's going on?
Wow.
What do you think, Jen?
The one encouraging thing about that is it's almost comical. We talk about the dollar store and everything that China makes is junk. So I'm like, hey, you want to help Hamas? You go ahead. Get some made in China bombs. I mean, it's stupid. I don't want to see Israel bombed. The thing that frustrates me the most about this is why is China having any say so in what's going on in the Middle East? Why do we have any say so in what's going on in the Middle East? Like everyone was all up in a bundle about this ceasefire, and why won't Bibi do a ceasefire? Whoever the guy is now, the president of what I can't follow all the titles, but
Right.
yeah,
Netanyahu.
okay, it is Bibi. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Why are we encouraging him to do a ceasefire? He knows if he does a ceasefire, they're just going to regroup and come on even stronger. It's none of our business. I don't
And
know why we're involved, and I'm concerned that China is involved. And
well,
it's terrifying.
you see Chuck Schumer and them come out and say that now they need to hold new elections. So now we're in charge of their elections.
Exactly.
Are we going to make them have new elections? How are we going to? How are we even going to suggest that?
None of our business. Oh my gosh. It's insane.
The man that got attacked October
7th. Yes.
that wants to keep Israel safe, that you once was backing, now that you can't control him because you figured out he really wants to get rid of Hamas, and you're trying to pull the restraints on him, and he's saying no. Now all of a sudden, we got to have new elections. The wicked games that they play, the wicked games
Right.
that they play. But it is what it is. Like you said, they can buy their crap because what they sell is here. It's crap. What they make is crap, knockoffs. But America is so intertwined. I mean, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I couldn't tell you how much of shit in my house if I flipped it over, turned it inside out right now would say made in China. I'm a realist.
Right.
But it doesn't mean I have to go along with the game. I mean, there is life after this shit. So if anybody wants to donate because the Patriot Lab has Chinese made from China stuff in his house, I'll be happy to replace it with made in America.
That's funny.
You got anything else to say on this one here with this little hookup that Hamas and China seem to have going?
No, well, yes. The concerning thing about it is if you think of these countries, the one that I haven't heard get involved in this is Russia, which I'm sure they are. They have some intertwinings, but it's all the key players lining up for Armageddon. Just
Right.
saying. That's the
You're
end of
right.
the game according to the Bible, and it's in many books, but especially Revelation. So, it's exciting times, and it's
You're
a
right.
terrible alliance.
You're right. Well, as everybody knows, the hearings are going on. Unfortunately, MSNBC, CNN, and other mainstream outlets do not want their viewers to hear the actual and factual, so they are censoring them. Little boys and girls can't handle the truth. But I figured I'd take a couple of clips from what I've been seeing, which is the actual and factual. You know, I don't need to get off, but I got some of the craziness too. So stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe. But I figured I'd bring you some heavy hitters, and one of the best heavy hitters in the game right now, batting a good 780. He about to knock it out the park.
The House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The ranking member just said that Joe Biden was opposed to corruption. Really? So opposed, he leveraged $1 billion of American tax money to fire the prosecutor in Ukraine who was investigating Zolochevsky at Burisma, the company Hunter Biden sat on the board of. Wow. And the prosecutor who replaced Shokin, that Mr. Parnas referenced in his opening statement, Mr. Lutsenko, guess what he did? He took Zolochevsky off the wanted list and dropped the charges. Wow, he's really, really opposed to corruption there. Mr. Bobolinsky, who's the big guy? Are you sure about that? Because when
Jordan, Joe
you're
Biden.
sure? You're sure?
I'm 1,000% sure.
Because when Hunter Biden did his deposition under oath, he said, I don't know who it is, even though he was copied on an email that said H will hold 10% for the big guy. You sure it's the big guy is Joe Biden?
1,000%. And there's other text messages that back that up, that the brave whistleblowers, Shapley and Ziegler, have produced, not from my phones, not from my BlackBerry that I took screenshots from. They took them from subpoenas directly from Apple's iCloud that back up the fact that Hunter knew the big guy was Joe Biden.
The big guy is the brand. The big guy is the lift. The big guy is the one who showed up at golf outings, who took phone calls and meetings and lunches and dinners with Hunter Biden and his business associates. Is that right?
Correct.
Mr. Galanis.
Hit him, Joe.
You referenced
Jim.
in your opening statement, May 4th, 2014, you were at a party at a restaurant in Brooklyn, New York. Can you tell me who else was there?
Yeah, it was a birthday party, so there were more than 100 people there, but amongst them was Archer, myself, the host, Alex Kuklarski, Yelena Baterna, her husband, and then Hunter Biden joined.
And tell us, I think you referenced the phone call that took place. Tell the committee what happened with that phone call. Who was involved in that phone call?
As I testified in my opening statement, it was Yelena Baterina, her husband, myself, Hunter initiating it, Joe Biden on the speakerphone, and Devin Archer.
So there was a little pull aside where that group of people you just described were pulled aside, and Hunter Biden called his fathers or called the vice president. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
And then tell me what was discussed on the call.
The discussion I testified it was a relatively short discussion, but it was a discussion about their Yelena and Yuri coming to town. As I testified specifically, they talked about being good to his boy.
Yeah, be good to my boy now. Be good to my boy. Now, what could that mean? I try to keep it in context. You know what I'm saying? I try to keep it in context. So if I was going somewhere and I had some people with me and my son was with me and he was getting ready to venture off and I told the people that was supposed to be taking care of him, be good to my boy. That means take care of him, look out for him, hook him up. You know what I mean? Feed him, clothe him. I mean, in Hunter's case, it was diamonds and $3.4 million from the oligarch. Take care of my boy.
Right.
He didn't need no room and board, even though he might have had it because he liked to do the freaky deaky. But but they continue to say there's no evidence. That's why you see the title, Deny and Play Stupid. That's what they do. We have no evidence. You have people that was literally there. What do you mean? What do you mean? That's the smoking gun. How far out do you need the spectrum to be? You have firsthand account information. Not he say, she say. Not well, so-and-so told me. You got somebody that was sitting right there, but they want to lead you off into a fantasy land to where there's no evidence. So what the hell are these people testifying about the actual and factual? Go ahead, Jen.
Wow, I was shocked to see Bobulinski up there. That was good. That was a step in the right direction because I remember clearly he did a piece with Tucker Carlson, and this was back in 16. Excuse me. This was back in 2016, and Tucker said, "Well, what's going to happen when he gets called on the carpet for these dealings?" And it wasn't about these exact ones you're talking about, but something else he did. He's always been corrupt, and Bobulinski said he'll claim plausible deniability. And Tucker Carlson said, "Can you say that again?" And he said, "Plausible deniability." We don't know what the heck he's talking about, but Tucker did. So we look it up. It just means that he's old and senile, and he can just say he didn't know what he was doing and he could get away with it. So it's a good thing that they didn't let go of Bobulinski and they're still questioning him. And we all know what it means, take care of my boy. He wants to make sure he gets a big cut because whatever Hunter gets, he's going to write a check for 10% over to the big guy. And now that we know who the big guy is, it's so bad that we're seeing this right in front of, our
And then you
faces.
got the other guy that testified that he was at the dinner meeting with the Russian oligarch
With them.
and they called Papa and put Papa on the phone.
Oh my gosh.
And this man continues to walk around and say, I don't know what y'all talking about. My family ain't make no money. I ain't make no money. Let's it's sad.
The testimony of Tony Bobulinski with the committee on February 13th, 2024. It corrects the record of Representative Garcia's, who did not provide your entire testimony. On page 147, you told the committee about your understanding of who invited you to the events referenced by Mr. Garcia. So without objection, I'd like to enter into the record the entire transcribed interview of Tony Bobulinski.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter for the record an article from today's Daily Beast entitled "Texts Reveal More Russia Ties for Key Anti-Biden Witness Bobulinski."
Okay, Daily Beast. Without objection. Chair now recognizes Mr. Palmer from Alabama for 5 minutes.
Mr. Bobulinski, I have very limited time and I want to get through a lot of information, so please answer these questions with a yes or no, if you don't mind. You have met Joe Biden, isn't that correct?
Correct.
In fact, you had a meeting with Joe Biden, isn't that correct?
2 of them.
One of those times was before the Milken Conference in Los Angeles, May of 2017, is that correct?
It was during the Milken Conference.
You provided a great deal of documentation to this committee. I want to show you some messages between you and Hunter Biden, be on the screen here, in May of 2017 before you first had a meeting with Joe Biden. These are messages between you and Hunter Biden dated May 2nd, 2017. Do you recognize these?
I do.
At the bottom, Hunter wrote, "Dad, not in now until 11. Let's me and Jim meet at 10 at Beverly Hilton where he's staying." Jim is James Biden, President Biden's brother. Is that correct?
Correct.
The next set of messages is, if you put those on screen, is between another business associate of Hunter Biden's and you. His name is James. Do you recognize it?
I do.
At the top, you write, "About to meet Hunter, Jim, and I guess Joe at Beverly Hilton Hotel." Joe is now President Joe Biden. Is that correct?
Correct.
This chat between you and Joe Biden, Jim Biden, Joe Biden's brother, you write to Jim, "Great to meet you and spend some time together. Please thank Joe for this time. It was great to talk. Thanks, Tony B." You met with Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and Jim Biden the night before the Milken Conference in 2017. Is that correct?
I did, and Jim Biden perjured himself by trying to deny that
Thank
meeting.
you, Mr. Bobulinski. That was at the Beverly Hilton, correct?
Correct.
You can provide more details around that meeting. What was the purpose of that meeting?
I didn't ask for the meeting, so I wish Hunter Biden was sitting next to me and he could under oath describe it. But the only reason why I was meeting with Joe Biden and the only reason why I was there is because I was the CEO of the enterprise that they were putting together with the Chinese company CFC.
So can you give me a little more detail about what was discussed in the meeting?
Well, as I said earlier, before Joe Biden showed up, Hunter and Jim Biden coached me, said a sort of outline that we wouldn't go into a lot of details. So through the 45 to 60-minute meeting I had with Joe Biden, I think it was about 10:40 p.m. after he flew across country, we talked about my background, my family's military background, the different business ventures I'd done around the world, the family I worked with. Joe spent time talking about his family, some of the tragedies that they had lived through. And at a high level, Hunter actually introduced me to Joe, because before Joe came and sat down with us, Hunter said, hey, give me 5 to 10 minutes. I need to read my father in on it.
So when you're referencing Joe and Hunter's father, you're referencing President Joe Biden.
I am.
Correct. These 4 images, well, in this message you sent to James again, you said you spent more time with Joe and Jim this morning, and to be factually correct, that's President Joe Biden and James Biden, his brother. Also saw them last night, including Hunter. These 4 images show a pretty clear record of your meeting with Joe Biden in May of 2017, Mr. Bobulinski. Hunter Biden, during his transcribed interview, testified that the meeting did in fact take place. And after being asked, did Mr. Bobulinski meet with your father during the trip, Hunter stated he met with him in the lobby of the hotel. When asked who attended the meeting, Hunter replied, my uncle and myself. But when asked whether the meeting at the Beverly Hilton between Joe Biden, Jim Biden, Hunter Biden, and Tony Bobulinski took place, Jim Biden testified, absolutely not. These stories don't match up. Mr. Chairman, Jim Biden also told the committee that Joe Biden did not meet the Chinese businessman Xi Jinping. Rob Walker, by known as a friendly witness committee, said the opposite. So, Mr. Chairman, it appears to me that there are material inconsistencies between the witnesses' testimony. These witnesses' statements appear to me to be irreconcilable. In short, Mr. Chairman, someone appears to be lying to the committee. The inconsistent testimony seems to come from Jim Biden, the president's brother. Lying to Congress is a serious offense, Mr. Chairman, a criminal one, in fact. And if the Bidens or anyone else has come before this committee and lied to this committee, I strongly encourage the committee to pursue criminal referrals to the Department of Justice. One last thing that I want to ask, and Mr. Bobulinski or Mr. Galinas, have either of you heard of any offer of a pardon for anyone involved or associated with or a partner to the Biden family enterprise corruption investigation?
I'm sorry, that was a question. Have
you heard of anyone being suggested that a pardon might be in order for anyone associated with this enterprise?
I have not.
Okay. So no pardons are on the table, which means Joe and them, they're enemies. They enemies at this time. Yeah, because we have to remember, these was Hunter's boys. At the end of the day, before all this started, I'll give or take 6 years. But these boys, they make money together. They was like the Rat Pack. These were, but you know what? They wasn't going to jail for Hunter Biden. They seen the writing on the wall. They wasn't even going to take a chance. See, they not thick-skinned. They thin-skinned.
Right.
Just because they up here testifying and all that don't exonerate them the shit they used to get down with. They just got to a point where they was like, now Bobulinski said he couldn't stomach no more, but I think the threat of going to prison for the rest of your life had something to do with him not stomaching that feeling. But Jen, I'm glad to see somebody talk about criminal charges finally. I'm glad to see somebody talking about some criminal charges. Let me give a quick shout out before I turn it back over to you. Marilyn Reeves, Jane Wood, Bobby Breastboyce, my sister Daryl Fagan's auntie, Mary Payne, David Evans. Welcome. What do you think, Jen? Oh, man.
I like to watch the body language, and I noticed this at the beginning of even the clip before this, the first clip we saw. Look at his forehead. His forehead's fine. We have a stress muscle up here. I learned this in the I love to watch body language stuff, and I learned it in the Fonnie Willis trials. Well, anyways, there's a stress muscle in your forehead. and his forehead was like as straight as mine is right now in the beginning. And in the last two testimonies that he was questioned, I can almost tell it's on the let's see, his left eyebrow. It doesn't make a good wrinkle. It's just one big divot. It's like really tight, and you can see this divot above his left eye. And it kind of means he's lying, or else he's really frustrated. And I'll bet you anything he's thinking, why do we have this email? Why is there all this visual proof? We're supposed to claim plausible deniability, but now they got us red-handed. So he's scared. He knows he's going to be in trouble. And look up at the left eyebrow. You're going to see the biggest divot, like he got hit in the head with a hammer. It's crazy, but that's what I was noticing was the body language.
You know, and people have to understand the way we've been communicating for the past 20 years is really everything is technology. People really think once you press send, you can't get that shit back. No, those cases.
Emails are forever.
Once you press send, whether it's on your phone, on your laptop, once you press send, it's a wrap, because you don't know where it went to, who got it.
Satellite. Right. Oh my God,
You got people snatching that shit up, storing it in secret files, and you thinking you on. Hey, just like old boy who tried to get rid of all the information that Biden told him, the ghostwriter. They found that shit in the trash bin. Now I'm sure he went in and probably clicked it and probably went to the trash and he said, okay, let me delete it, because they don't delete after 30 days. So I'm sure he was like, okay, let me delete it off of here. All right, let me go to the trash now so I can delete it out my trash. They caught that shit down the cycle somewhere after he sent it. It's crazy.
Wow.
All right, brother AJ, you stay safe up there in New York. AJ, bro, I do apologize. The next trip will not be up that way. Yes, Patriots Lab will be leaving. Don't know what the dates are yet in April, but y'all tune in to find out. We are going to Miami Beach, and we are going to spend a couple of days in Little Haiti, and we're going to see what all the fuss is about. There's a lot of things going on down there right now. My man from Fox and Friends in the morning, the brother, I forgot his name, so it took my tongue, but he's down there already. I was watching him. I'm like, oh man. So they down there, boats is collapsing, people swimming, people getting rescued. We're going to Little Haiti, and we're going to see what the fuss is about, because it's getting ready to be the next hot spot. It's getting ready to be the next hot spot. But other than that, they are caught red-handed. They are caught red-handed. And the thing about this is, it's like the Democrats didn't get the memo, because every time they get to speak, it's about Trump. I'm like, wait a minute. This ain't the story about the lies of Trump.
We heard more about his predecessor in the State of the Union than we did about his plans for.
Jen, when you can't run on the record, and you can't run on you being the good guy, what else can you do? They have nothing to run on.
Right.
And see, CNN, MSNBC, and them other affiliates of mainstream media that think by not airing this, their viewers aren't going to see the actual and factual. That's why the shit blew up in their face when they try to say, oh, Donald Trump said if you don't vote for him, it's going to be a bloodbath. Man, America's was like, here we go with this shit again. So they've played almost every card that they could possibly play in the deck. They getting ready to pull out them jokers. You got the ace king. See, they went past the 2, 3, 4, 5, and the jack and the queen, and they threw a couple of kings down, and the kings got snatched up, and they like, shit.
Wild cards. Oh my
Yeah,
God, you're
like,
right.
well, let's throw out some aces. Let's hit them with some aces. They hit them with the aces. The aces got swallowed up. And now they holding them Joker cards. They're holding them 2 Joker cards, and they like, man, you got Joker card. I don't know what to call it, but it ain't gonna be nothing nice. And then you got Joker card where I don't know what to call it because it ain't gonna be nothing nice.
Right. Wow, it's another wild card. It's scary. I can only imagine terrible things and I don't want to. God protect Trump. God protect
Well,
us.
you honestly want to try to. You want to try to figure out another scenario. I mean, I'm sure you do, especially knowing the way your brain thinks. I know you sit up and like, how the hell can we get out of this shit? You know,
Wow. Yeah,
how?
it's
How
I
can you?
loved
How can?
I loved the show we did last night on Boogie with the Bull, and I'm so glad you were there. But at the beginning, I don't know if you saw the beginning. This woman's amazing. Her name is, oh boy, come on, starts with I don't
Bonnie
know.
Johnson.
Yes, Bonnie. I was like, Brenda? No, Bonnie Johnson. This lady, for the past 20 years of her life, she's been a humanitarian aid offering help to rescuing children. And
I know.
she said,
I
oh,
went
yeah,
through her whole bio. I went through her whole bio. She's the real deal.
that's awesome. Yeah, and I've not been loud about anything I do because I was trying to protect it. Well, you can tell if you look at my the groups I belong to. There's a couple of them in there that are homeschooling groups. So we don't have websites, so whatever. But I was so proud of her because what she's doing is she's like boots on the ground rescuing these people that are trafficked, women, children. It's crazy. So she said she doesn't want to hear anything that any candidate for president or anybody, any candidate for any form of office has to say if they're not going to cover protecting the children or stopping this trafficking. That is the worst thing about these open borders. It's absolutely ridiculous. And we're all worried, oh, what about our jobs? What about our houses? What about, what about our prosperity? We're being replaced. No, they're using that open border as a front to steal people, to steal child trafficking, to steal sex slaves. It's disgusting. And then she brought up the point that they make the most money off of the substance called adrenochrome. That's blood. My God, they're killing children to get this adrenochrome so that these elites and stuffy people can drink it to look young for the rest of their life. They're willing to put a whole nation at risk and murder children, probably in their stupid satanic rituals, to get their blood to make themselves look better. And I'm like, oh my God, get some good cream and drink a lot of water. But that was just me being silly because I can't stand the depression of the real. It really bogs me down. I hate it. Leave the children alone. They're so helpless.
I
I
hear
can't.
you.
Yeah,
I hear
thank
you.
you. Please
And
talk.
it's intentional.
I'm a
And
mess.
it's intentional. I mean, you got people like Greg Abbott that are trying to do the job of securing the border that the federal government doesn't want to do. I mean, it literally got to the point where it went to the Supreme Court. It went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court told Greg Abbott that, okay, if you catch him, go ahead, lock him up, do whatever you need to do. But why do they want the borders open so bad? Why do they want them open so bad?
A controversial Texas law supporters say will give law enforcement authority to arrest migrants entering the country illegally is now put on ice.
This after the Supreme Court allowed the law to take effect Tuesday. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty reports.
Back and forth battles over border policy rage on. Just hours after the Supreme Court ruled in favor of a Texas law allowing law enforcement in the state to arrest migrants they think illegally entered the country. A federal appeals court late Tuesday declaring that policy is back on hold for now.
The Supreme Court was divided on the order, with 3 liberal justices dissenting.
Critics feared the law would cause minorities living throughout the entire state to fear for their safety.
This bill does not just apply for those counties along the border. Any law enforcement agency has this awesome authority to make a spot determination without any federal training to determine if somebody's in the country illegally.
But supporters, including Texas Governor Greg Abbott, believe it's one of the Lone Star State's only lines of defense amid the surge of illegal crossings. While many migrants say they are coming to escape violence and economic instability in their home country, Governor Abbott posting in part, quote, hundreds on the terror watch list have entered our country illegally under President Biden. This will not stand.
There's no argument for many of us that doesn't acknowledge that we need to address some issues along the border.
Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill say President Joe Biden's policies are leaving the border wide open.
Okay, we ain't got to hear him speak about it. We know his policies are leaving the border wide open. That is no longer up for debate, at least not with me. But to deliberately overturn a Supreme Court ruling after I thought the Supreme Court was the highest court in the land, it really had me thinking how tyrannical this administration is being proactive at, how deliberate they are being with basically seizing power. The Supreme Court has spoken, which I reiterate, I thought was the highest court in the land. And for them to come back and then overturn the Supreme Court, well, why do we have a Supreme Court if everything that can go to the Supreme Court can wind up coming back down to the lower courts for litigation? No, Supreme Court spoke because obviously it's the law of the land. If you're not going to protect, you seen the video. How many is too many for a community?
Right.
Not a state, a community. And I dare say, if you are living down in those areas, I would hope you got some kind of identification that, I mean, just because you Mexican and you live in Texas don't mean you subject to not having ID.
True.
Black people had to go through stop and frisk. So all of a sudden we don't want to offend nobody. When did we become a nation that didn't want to offend nobody?
True. We're allowed to hurt each other. I mean, feelings. We're allowed to hurt each other's feelings. We have the freedom of speech. It happens. We have to get tough skin. But I think it's all interference. It's like a football game. They're just running interference. Don't focus. We can't help it. It's in front of us and they're coming. But we are focusing on the migrants and don't have feelings. Oh, what about them? They're people too. Yeah, they are. What about the children? The borders are open. The drugs are coming through. Joe's making money off of it. And it's disgusting. And I was talking, this is a stupid pie in the sky idea, but it was better than nothing. Okay. It was better than nothing. In Israel, what they're doing is they're filling the tunnels that Hamas is using to come through and get into Israel. They're filling it with this stuff, like the great stuff. It's a foam, and they show a picture of this big tanker, and what it has this foam in it, and they just fill the tunnel. And if you're trapped in it, that sucks. But they're filling in the tunnels so Hamas cannot keep coming back to attack them. And I'm like, can we just clear out the tunnels as best as we can? Because there's tunnels all over the United States, especially the ones in Texas, and they're using them for child trafficking and people trafficking and drug trafficking. Get rid of the tunnels. It's just, it's pie in. Go ahead.
Hopefully, when we get an administration
that
is willing to to fight the battle like Netanyahu is, and really
Right.
eliminate the things that are harmful to his country that he knows and is aware of. Um, it's not going to happen. So hopefully that when people get in situations that will be leading this nation, they pick up some of the ideas that have been going on, and that is definitely one of them. That is definitely one of them. So they need to be listening to the Patriots Lab because we come up with some great ideas for you guys. We really do. But it's crazy because moments after, just when the enemy hears that their opposition, well, no, when the enemy hears that this administration has their back, then they get emboldened. You know what I mean? They're like, well, Joe Biden, they got our back, man. We can do what we want to do. We're going to talk about it. Well, let them go
Mexico's
ahead.
government said Tuesday it would not accept the return of migrants. The Texas orders to leave the United States after the Supreme Court allowed the state to enforce a strict new immigration law signed by Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Look, obviously, you have Mexico doing the White House's bidding in terms of wanting chaos on the border, which is sort of par for the course. To that sense, though, in a way, has the administration now end run the Texas law? They say there's going to be chaos. This seems to indicate exactly that.
No. In fact, this isn't going to affect it in any way, shape, or form, because these individuals that cross our borders illegally, they're not going to want a criminal conviction on their record. And if they trespass, they're still going to be prosecuted for that criminal trespassing. Once Mexico refuses to take them back, then these individuals are going to be handed over to the Border Patrol or to ICE ERO. So the effect is still going to be the same. There's still going to be a consequence, and that's going to be a criminal conviction on their record. These individuals don't want that. The vast majority of the people that cross our borders illegally are ultimately one day hoping to get a legal pathway, whether that's a citizenship or a lawful permanent resident alien card. That's what they're hoping. And when you have a criminal conviction, that's going to become exponentially more difficult. That's why I do not believe that even the deportation is, the fact that Mexico isn't going to take these people back, I don't think that's going to affect anything as far as the deterrent, because there is going to be a consequence for the criminal trespass.
Okay. You know me. I don't like going past first base. I don't like going on to 2, 3, 4, and 5. I just like to go to number 1. What do you think is going to happen if Mexico don't take back the people you send over? I don't care if you're going to prosecute them. Where are you sending them? They use that word. Well, if they know they're going to get Mexico already said they're not taking them back. So do you really think they care if they get their citizenship or not? They know you're not sending them back because their people said we're not taking them back. So why are you trying to give us? Maybe some people don't catch on. Maybe it's just me. They said they wasn't taking them back. You saying, well, if they get prosecuted, they know they can't stay and have legal citizenship. But if Mexico's not taking them back, where are you sending them? Don't make no sense.
That's a good point. You know what I was looking for were up these. There must be 1,000 of these people. This is not even about the children, but about the people that were in. I think it was it San Francisco, where Biden visited, and Newsom said, "Well, what do you do when you have family visiting? You clean up the place." And they cleaned up everything. Like you couldn't even see you couldn't even see tents. They moved all these homeless people, all their paraphernalia, all the poop. They cleaned up everything. Like it looked like a beautiful picture of San Francisco when like back in the 80s. It was beautiful, and there's Biden shaking Newsom's hand, and there's Democrats everywhere, and they're like, look we didn't do a bad job here. This looks great. I'm like, what did you do with all the junk? I'm not even talking about people. What'd you do with the people? What'd you do with their tents? They probably just pitched all the debris and all it's like a candy machine. The machines they have now where you can get a crack pipe out of it. You could get what did they get rid of all that stuff? What did you do
I
with the
hope
people?
so.
Yeah, they probably pitched all that, but what did they do with all the people? And that's exactly what Mexico's going to do. If they reinstate, which I hope they do, the stay in Mexico thing, which I think he will do because elections are coming up and all the Republicans and Democrats are like, see, he does care. He's going to say this is too much. Now they have to reinstate stay in Mexico. Well, Mexico doesn't want them and we don't want them. Maybe they'll find the people that Gavin Newsom cleaned out of San Francisco. I don't know. I can't imagine. I saw a terrible Criminal Minds once where they were cleaning up the streets of Detroit by selling these people to a pig farmer in Canada. And pigs will eat anything.
What the hell?
So I know it was really bad. I don't know why I watched it.
That's why I don't watch that shit. That's why I don't watch that stuff.
I
You ain't
know.
gonna have me thinking about that stuff at night.
Yeah, sorry about bad dreams. Anyhow, what are you doing? Is there a mass grave? This is terrible. You can't just kill everybody. My God, it's terrible.
Where do they send them? No, I don't know where they send. I don't know where they send them.
I know.
When they clean it up, they just throw them in a tractor trailer, and they just never heard from again. I guess I don't know.
No.
But you know who we did see? We had a Papa sighting, and Papa down in Arizona, and doing what he does best. He's
ice cream.
What? No.
Said,
Well, he might have had some ice cream, but you ever seen a defeated man?
Oh.
He just looks defeated. He's begging for help. He's not asking his supporters to support him anymore. He's begging for help. He can't help himself. I don't know. They just need to put him back in the basement. If this was any time for the man to be in the basement and America say it's good, now is the time. Put his ass in the basement.
This election is not a referendum on me. It's an election between me and a guy named Trump. In 2016, he called Latinos criminals, drug dealers, and rapists when he came down the escalator. Now he says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country.
And given the near historic surges of undocumented immigrants coming across our southern border, polls have shown Americans are not happy with the way Biden has handled immigration over the past 3 years. The president is also expected to speak about manufacturing and jobs tomorrow as he touts his record on the economy. Despite low unemployment, rising wages for workers, a lot of Americans still uneasy about the state of America's economy right now. Back to you guys.
I know he's heading to Texas after that event tomorrow, so perhaps he'll address border issues there. Any idea of what else he'll address here in the Valley?
Well, we don't care what else he's going to address here in the Valley, but that wasn't even the clip I wanted to show, and I'm not going to go ahead and try to fibble through it and bring it up. But he's basically begging for the help of the Latinos. He's doing a world tour. I guess now he grew up in the Mexican neighborhood, had a Mexican nanny, very fluent, front and back in the Mexican language. If you're gonna go in on Joe, you might as well go all the way in. I guess he's probably been playing soccer since he can remember. He is he's a true whatever. The clip I had when he was talking, begging for their help, I mean, you could hear like 2 claps in the back. It was like somebody back there golf clapping. I'm like, can you turn the cameras around? Can we see who's really not there?
It's Jill and the camera. Oh my God, Jill and the
Joe
camera.
and the camera crew. It was Joe and the camera crew. Oh my goodness! But it's what we gotta deal with. But we've been me and Jen, for the past hour, we've been killing time we're gonna do some funny stuff right now. We're gonna do some funny stuff. I find it hilarious. I do, and maybe you can find it hilarious too. If you know the truth, you find it hilarious.
Quick question. Simple. Is it your testimony today that you personally witnessed President Joe Biden commit a crime?
I believe the fact that he was sitting with me while I was putting together a
Did
business
you
deal.
witness the president
They are
commit
so
a crime? Is it your
mean.
testimony today?
Look at the
Yes.
forehead. Look at his forehead, left side.
Have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name
He's
the crime.
frustrated.
Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
You
Specifically.
just, wait, you keep up. You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me,
statutes,
sir. Excuse me,
FARA.
sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is
It's
the
a category of crimes that you're then charged
You
under
have charges.
A long 100.
You have charges. Sir,
You want
please
me to name the exact statute
Sir,
under RICO?
yes.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, everyone's not here. There's over 18
All right, sir. I reclaim my time.
lawyers that
I
went to
reclaim
law
my
school.
time. I
I'll leave
reclaim
it
my
up to
time.
you guys
Okay,
to
thank
define
you,
the
sir. I
statute
reclaim my
under
time.
RICO.
Clearly, what we are seeing here today is a continuation of the 15-month saga of the Republican majority lost in the desert. Impeachment 101. The majority party or whomever is raising impeachment must accuse the president of a high crime, a specific high crime or misdemeanor. I would like to submit to the record HRES 918, the House resolution to open this impeachment inquiry.
Without objection to order.
This resolution does not outline a high crime or misdemeanor. It's not here. Now, when we compare the chairman's opening from his previous opening, he's talking about Ukraine and Burisma and all of this. This entire inquiry is based on a blockbuster piece of information that was in a classified SCIF room. And inside that room was a document alleging President Biden directly of a $10 million bribery scheme, a $10 million bribery scheme, extremely serious. What happened? What happened a month ago, Mr. Chairman? That document, the FBI arrested the person who
Somebody
offered those
give that bitch an
allegations
Oscar.
for falsifying his testimony to the FBI. This entire impeachment inquiry is based on an actual provable individual who has lied. Now, responsible leadership would withdraw an inquiry based on that. Withdraw it. Instead, what we are seeing is that this committee was warned about the falsehoods of these allegations long before that, warned by Trump's Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, and yet they proceeded anyway. The chairman proceeded anyway. This committee was warned by Rudy Giuliani associate right here, Lev Parnas, after that document about the falsehoods of this. Then held hearings where your own expert witnesses said that there was no
Okay, we can't listen to Horseface no more. But you see what I sit here and I watch after knowing the actual and the factual of it all. I don't know how many times I can call these people twisted and demonic. And the lengths that they're willing to go through to protect Papa and the deep, deep, deep state. To basically come out and bold-faced lie to people. See, that's why they're not showing this on NBC, on MSNBC and CNN and all of it. Because the person with common sense is going to hear and see the actual and factual And then they're going to be forced into watching somebody put on a Oscar-winning performance. You talk about drama queen. She was talking about nothing about what they were talking about. I don't know. I don't know. You can't even call it deflecting. I mean, they just come out and just look the other way. Look the other way. What evidence? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Jen. But this is the times we're living in, and I'm here to do a show, so I guess this is what we got to do. I appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Like, share, subscribe, ring that bell so you can get those instant notifications as we live out the days of our lives. Because this is some soap opera shit. This is some soap opera shit, and I've just tried to get the clips that I thought were worth looking at, so you can see the clown show that's literally
Georgia
taking
for 5
place.
minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Some more action.
Joe Biden continues to lie to the American people about his role in his family's businesses. In 2020, he stood up on stage of a presidential debate and told the American people that his family didn't take any money from China. That was a lie. Not only was it a lie, he knew it was a lie. He knew it because he met with his son, Hunter Biden's Chinese business associates. I want to talk about CEFC, which is the China Energy Fund Committee. Mr. Bobulinski, who is Chairman Yi?
Chairman Yi was the chairman of CEFC.
Thank you. Jim Biden told the FBI and IRS that Chairman Yi was the protege of Xi Jinping, the leader of China and the Chinese Communist Party. Mr. Bobulinski, Rob Walker told this committee that Joe Biden met Chairman Yi. Are you aware of that? Yes or no?
I am now. I wasn't at the time.
And Joe Biden also met with you, is that right?
Yes, he did. Twice.
Who is Director Zhang?
Director Singh was the number 2 at CFC.
The executive director of CEFC, the number 2?
Yeah, he was the number 2 executive, but really the point person that I worked with and the Biden family worked with. And he's the individual that Hunter Biden was shaking down at the end of July 2017, demanding that they fund the $10 million. They ultimately sent 5, but $10 million directly to Hunter Biden's account, Owasco.
Thank you, Mr. Bobulinski. I want to show you a text message that Hunter Biden sent to you and his other business associates. I'm holding it right here. I'll read it to you. Hey, Tony, I have an idea. In light of the fact we are at an impasse of sorts, and both James' lawyers and my chairman gave an emphatic no, I think we should all meet in Romania. He's speaking about my chairman. When Hunter Biden came in for his deposition, he said that he was referring to Chairman Yi and that the rest of your group referred to Zhang as a different chairman. Does this make any sense to you?
That's a lie. I never heard Director Zhang referenced as chairman, and I had direct communications with Director Zhang over WeChat. Met him in Romania, met him in Moscow, met him around the world in New York, trying to develop this business, and he was never referred to as the chairman, first of all. Second of all, that makes absolutely no sense in the context of this message because we are discussing Oneida Holdings, LLC.
Thank you. So he was not the chairman, just to clarify. Yes
Correct.
or no? Okay. So I want to show you another text. When
Oh my God.
chairman, he was talking about his dad. This is from Rob Walker. It didn't seem to make much sense to Rob Walker either. So he said that when Hunter, he said this to you, when Hunter was talking about his chairman, he was talking about his dad. When Rob Walker came in to give his transcribed interview to the committee, he basically said, well, Hunter was high or confused or mad. And Rob Walker said that he was just trying to calm things down between you and Hunter. But that doesn't really answer the question about who Hunter Biden is talking about. Hunter Biden lied to this committee. So here, clearly, he says, Rob Walker's saying he's talking about his dad.
So, like we were saying earlier, when you press send, you can't get it back.
It's not
You
gone.
can't.
Oh my-
And Hunter being a crackhead, I mean, he is the guy that took his shit to the pawn shop. I mean, so he's not technically sound enough after he sends some shit to retrieve it. That I do know. And oh my goodness. But this is what I got to do. I got to bring you the actual and factual along with the deny and I don't know what the hell you're talking about and the let's play stupid crew. Because that's what they do. That's who they are. It's man, we living in some crazy times right now.
Yeah.
We're living in some crazy times where it's that Twilight Zone.
Right.
They snatching up bodies, feeding them to pigs. I mean,
Seriously.
allegedly, maybe.
Sorry.
I don't know.
It's
See, I told you, Jen. I
I am
told you.
so sorry. Your wife's gonna be like, "What the heck are you talking about? It's a good show." Then you come on.
No, 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 no.
I'm
I'm not.
sorry.
They want me to play Jamie Raskin. No, hey, when Jamie Raskin takes that do rag off his head, what's up with the do rag with Jamie? I don't know, but do I got Jamie Raskin in the playlist? I don't know if I got Jamie Raskin in the playlist or not. Let me see. Do I? No, I don't have I don't have Jamie. If y'all don't know who Jamie Raskin is, he's the minority chair leader in the House with his committees taking place. And if you thought the lies that I showed you coming out of the other two was something, I might have to do a special montage on Jamie Raskin because he is hilarious. He'll have you out in left field. He'll have the dumbest person talk about what are you talking about, man? They have no idea. But we're getting ready to land this plane, and I want to give prayers out to the 13 families of the family members that tragically died in the Afghanistan withdrawal. It has now come to light that Joe Biden and these people were just doing whatever they wanted to do. First, we deal with the lower Supreme Court shutting down the higher Supreme Court, and then we have this. No, I don't want to play it. Not that one. We're gonna play this one. And then we're gonna end this shortly. Where am I at? I messed up. Y'all gotta bear with me. Okay.
And I alone bear full military responsibility for what happened.
The thing we're going to discuss today happened overnight. It was a process of withdrawal that spanned a decade. The outcome in Afghanistan was the cumulative effect of many decisions over many years of war. In the fall of 2020, as I previously testified publicly, my personal analysis, was that an accelerated withdrawal would likely lead to the general collapse of the Afghan security forces and the Afghan government.
I'd like to talk a little bit now about Abbey Gate. It was a tragic event, one of many that have occurred over our 20-year engagement in Afghanistan. It remains my opinion that if there is culpability in this attack, it lies in policy decisions that created the environment of August 2021 in Kabul. I was the overall commander and I alone bear full military responsibility for what happened at Abbey Gate.
And you urged the White House and State Department to put pen to paper to develop a plan to get Americans and our Afghan allies out of Afghanistan, correct?
Yes, I did. In fact, I was concerned by the middle of July.
And they did eventually develop a plan.
Well, go ahead on the plan.
So they had a plan. Like I said, it's a requirement to have the plan, but it's one thing to have the plan. It's a second thing to do the actual coordination on the plan.
And that was too little, too late.
It is my judgment that it was far too little, far too late.
Was that your assessment, General Milley?
It was, and I would broaden it a little bit by saying it was a pretty consistent assessment by me and other members of the uniformed military, up to and including the Secretary.
If we're going to study to find out the findings of what we should do, we should be talking about what happened during the Trump administration, as well as what took place during the Biden administration, because they are connected. They're not separate. And so if we're serious about trying to figure out what took place and why it took place, we should be looking at both.
So here this brother just said, basically he just said, well, we know everything you said is right, but let's go after Trump too. He didn't deny. He didn't deny. He said the truth. He said how they really feel. Well, we know our guy did this shit, but let's go after Trump too, because they're all the same. It's all the same. Trump was president too.
Wow.
Trying to put it all in one basket. No, all of this shit occurred under one man's watch. Last time I checked.
You're right. Wow. The biggest defense that I can think of, that I know of, that is true. And Trump, they all swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. And the best thing you can always go back to, especially leaning on it during this administration or whatever they're trying to do, he swore to the oath, but he is not upholding Article 4, Section 4, that says the government will protect against an invasion. All they did was change the word invasion, but you can't do that. Do you know how hard it is to ratify a law? Like to get those 10 amendments, the first 10 amendments, which is the Bill of Rights. It took a long time to get that. You can't just ratify the Constitution. But for some reason, in the courts, they changed the word. And if Biden is guilty of anything, you can go back to 4.4. It's Article 4, Section 4. He is not protecting us against an invasion. And they're like, it's not an invasion. No, I don't care if he said to open it, it's an invasion. And we're footing the bill for it. So if you're going to say that the Trump and the Biden presidency is the same thing, well, how come Trump upheld the Constitution and this guy didn't? That is the biggest thing. And I would have loved for whoever the guy was that AOC was questioning, if he would have brought up Article 4 or Section 4, I think her head would spin, and I would love to see that.
But she don't even know what it is.
I know. That's
she
why.
wouldn't know what it was.
I
You
know.
these people, they don't know a law. They just know how to
Right.
get out there and lie.
You're right.
They don't know a law. They don't know a law. They make up their laws as they go.
Wow.
That's what they do. Well, if you
You're
got
right.
any words, Jen, I would appreciate it, because we're gonna go ahead and land this plane and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day as much as we can.
It is pretty out there. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. And Ray, thank you so much for letting me be part of this. It's always fun. And hold on to your Constitution. And I'm telling you, there is a section in there, an article in a section 4.4, that we are supposed to be protected. So say your prayers to God and that somebody understands the rule of law. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, people, patriots, whoever you consider yourself to be, thanks for tuning in for a great Wednesday conversation. And I will see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If not, in the meantime, in between time, be there, or you already know, be what? We are out.
Bye.
Enjoy.